What's happening, my peoples? I wanted to say a final statement on the Ali Bashir incident. Obviously, I'm a Christian, so I'm not a proponent of violence like that. But I just wanted to say a couple things about it. Um, well, we saw a lot more footage, and of course, if you go check out Champ's side, they showed footage where Ali Bashir actually put his fist on Clarissa Shields' chin. It looked kind of jokingly; she was kind of smiling and stuff, but I just get this feeling this guy disrespects women. Like, if a woman even tries to step his way, he gonna like try and slap her down or whatever. And he has a woman fighter as well, but he just give me that weird vibe. Maybe he's not like that, right? But anyways, my point is this, right? That I was listening to various outlets, various people, and a lot of them sided with Clarissa Shields and her sister because of what Ali Bashir was doing. All right. He was in the wrong, obviously. He started stuff. He wasn't even supposed to be on the stage. Because the Shield sister was saying, come off the stage to him. The officials was trying to talk to him as well. And that's when he acted up. All right. And he behaved like a real idiot. But at the end of the day, I also don't condone the sucker punch that happened. Just to make people clear. I do not condone anyone sucker punching anyone or punching anybody in the face. However, that does not mean I condone what Ali Bashir was doing. And for you guys saying that it was just shit talking and smack talking, no, it wasn't. Okay? He was very intentional in what he wanted to do, and he did really wanted to punch that woman. He also showed in his sentiments that he really wanted to punch Clarissa Shields. I seen Mike Tyson do something like that to Floyd, where Mike Tyson came up and he tried to punch Floyd. Floyd didn't even take him on. All right. Now, Clarissa Shields obviously she was just ready to murk Habazin inside of the square circle, but that never happened. And you know what? In a way, Ali Bashir and Habazin they get away from an ass whooping because that's what they were going to get. She was going to get. Well, he took the ass whooping for her, but that's what they were going to get, right? And but anyway, at the end of the day, I was listening to several people talk about this incident, and I want to just leave just a few final thoughts on it. My few final thoughts on it is this: I don't condone violence like that. I don't condone that stuff. Ali Bashir at least should have gotten paid for getting knocked the fuck out. But I think I saw the guy who knocked him out. It was a short, compact little guy that was saying it's Clarissa Shields' brother. I don't know how true that is. What I do know though is that just like how you guys say if it was your mother or father, you would stand up for them. Similarly, if somebody's threatening your brother or sister, you would stand up for them. You know, some of y'all some of y'all will fuck up the person first, then ask questions later. Y'all know this. I have two brothers. I remember once I got fucked up by a guy, beat me up and shit. My two brothers found out they didn't ask no questions. They just went and fucked up the guy. All right, and I'm just saying, the same way how you talking about how if he got fucked up, Ali Bashir, somebody would want to come back and exact revenge. Is the same way how he spoke to Clarissa Shields' sister, knowing he wasn't even supposed to be on the stage, then followed Clarissa's sister and kept on talking. Maybe somebody associated with Clarissa's sister got a hers by that. I said, you see this old man? I'm gonna fuck him up. And they went and fucked him up. All right? Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But what I do know is this whole incident sort of cost Clarissa Shields the fight. And a lot of people want to put blame on different people and stuff, but it looked like Showtime wasn't even interested in this fight, the way how they were behaving. But one thing I can say is, hopefully, this incident will inform us so that we don't have incidents like this again. All right? Hopefully, people will conduct themselves in a professional manner, especially trainers. Conduct yourself in a professional manner. All right? Ali Bashir did not represent the older folk. I know of elderly folk, and we know about this a lot in society. A lot of the older people are being attacked these days, and they don't deserve it. All right? I've seen a lot of crimes against older people being raped and murdered and all kinds of shit happening to them. And these are good people I'm talking about. So That does not reflect well. But Ali Bashir, as an older person, what the fuck are you getting involved in shit for? Look at what's his name? Um, John David Jackson. He's not getting involved in that shit. You know why? Because he's a trainer. He ain't there to fight for the fighter, right? And Ali Bashir picked a battle that he could not win. He was fighting for his fighter. His fighter was supposed to do what she was supposed to do. That's between the fighters, not between him and the fighters. All right, so he wants to start talking for the fighter. Fine. But do understand that if you start trying to fight for a fighter, now you putting yourself in the mix. Remember, it's about fighting. So anytime you want to throw a punch, do understand a punch will come back at you. You know what I'm saying? EJ Boxing Live. Shout out to EJ Boxing Live. EJ Boxing Live says, my dude, he got sucker punch, bro. And you ain't told me nothing new, bro. Dude rolled up behind him. And like my boy in Mayweather Boxing Gym said, I know Ali Bashir, you guys interview him, so I understand where you're coming from his side. But as a guy said, if you start some shit, you better be able to defend yourself. I was just recently listening to the video with Mayweather Boxing Channel with my boy, the trainer, and he was saying, look, when you say something and you put forward a challenge, he said he want to fuck her up. He said he gonna fuck her up, right? He gonna knock her the fuck out. That's what Ali Bashir said. You can't be saying that shit and don't expect something to come back on you in Flint, Michigan. You can't be saying that shit. You got to be looking out now for hands coming at you. That's just the way how it is in the real world. Unless y'all don't know about that shit. I mean, y'all grow up in the hood. Y'all grow up in projects. Y'all grow up in a poor area. You know what it is. You know what it is. You don't be talking that kind of stuff. You know? It was the women who started at him. Nope. He wasn't supposed to be on that stage, first of all. Champside put the video out. Put out what he was doing in the whole promotion. How he put hands on Clarissa Shields. He touched her with his fist. And that was in a presentation before. And again, he was somewhere where he was not supposed to be. That's why they pushed him off the stage. The women were telling him, you ain't supposed to be up here. Get down from the stage. Clarissa said it when he tried to get in her face and he was smiling. And then the other woman, who was in black from Carissa's Tea, was telling her to move. And then the sister probably said, get the fuck off the stage. And he didn't like that. So he was trying to, rile up on them. Right? Champside got everything. Right? And then he was supposed to go to a section across on the other side. He followed Carissa's sister to the general sitting area, and he kept on trash talking her and attacking her. He was definitely wrong and trying to bully Carissa's sister. And they was trying to push Carissa's sister off, and they took her out of the building completely. EJ Boxing Live says, talking don't mean you should get punched. That is true. But if you talk the talk, you better be able to walk the walk. This is fighting. This is the fight game. You know that, EJ. Don't be trying to defend, because I'm put you on blast. You understand? You talking like if he was, he started the shit. He talk about knocking her the fuck out. Then he get his ass knocked the fuck out. You don't start talking that kind of shit. You talking the violence. You say, I'm gonna knock her the fuck out. Man, you better shut up and stuff. And he started attacking her. And he followed her, attacking her. You asking for shit. I got beat up because of my mouth, man. You asking for shit. Everybody trying to de-escalate the situation. You trying to escalate the situation. You looking for your shit. You understand? Unless you are able to protect yourself. Don't be behaving like a bully and then afterwards, oh, you the poor victim and you're fuck no. Fuck no. If he didn't say nothing, this wouldn't even have happened. All right? So I'm just saying. Yes, and she walked off. So why he get punched then? Because he opened his damn mouth and he was just bumping his gum. He was saying what he would do and what he would do and what he would do to her. Somebody didn't like that, so they went through and they said, "This motherfucker he need to learn respect." And somebody just decided they didn't like what he was doing, and they went in. That's real life. People been killed for less. You should know that. You come from an area where people kill people for less. You in Flint, Michigan, man. You in Flint, Michigan. Everybody don't have the morals you and I grew up with. You got to know where you at. I was listening to barbershop conversations, and he was saying the same thing. He ain't gonna roll up in a certain area where there's Bloods and Crips wearing blue or all red. He asking for trouble. You got to know where you at. Obviously, Ali Bashir did not understand where he was at. Yeah, I mean, this is not rocket science. This is natural common sense, right? But some people are bullies. They're naturally aggressive and they're bullies. And that's Ali Bashir. So he got broken jaw. He cool. He'll come back. He's from there, bro. Well, even more reason for him not to be doing that shit. If you come from an area of Flint, Michigan, which he does not come from, by the way. He doesn't come from Flint, Michigan. Come from America, but that don't mean shit. Every area has its own idiosyncrasy. But he's not from Flint, Michigan. Right? He got a broken face, bro. And from a punch. Motherfucker said he was going to knock her the fuck out. Well, he got knocked the fuck out. And now y'all crying like little bitches. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry like a bitch now. He said what he said, and that's what he got. Cause and effect. It's called karma. If you open your mouth and you do like this, be prepared to back it up. You got to back your shit up. Otherwise, you're going to suffer for it. I suffered for it many times. I opened my mouth and said things. I couldn't back my shit up. So what did I get? I get murked. This is coming from somebody who's experienced what he got through. I got my ass kicked. But I looked for my shit. I opened my mouth and said things that I shouldn't have said. Smash that like button if you like what we talking about. So I'm not talking from a void, okay? I'm talking from experience. You have to learn to be smart out here, right? You can't be aggressive all the time. You can't be pushing aggression. I don't give a fuck that he's 71 years old. If you're 71 or 72 or 77 years old, then you should know better. You should know better. You're not going to get a pass. You're not going to get a pass, right? You're not going to get a pass. Hey, if I'm wrong, everybody else is wrong. You go and do that shit out there. You go. You come across to the United States of America and you do that shit out there. See what will happen to you. Not everybody shares the same morals. You got to be smart out here. All right? You talking like somebody who reading something from a theoretical book. But I'm not talking from a theoretical book. I live in the real world, okay? Somebody do shit in the real world like that, and they get fucked up, they look for their shit. But if somebody is innocent, that is to say the person didn't do nothing and they get fucked up, that's totally different. That's totally different. But this man was not innocent. This man did his shit and then he got fucked up. That's why he ain't saying nothing. He quiet. Because he know he stirred up shit. And somebody took it to heart and acted on it. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that the person should get a gold medal for the shit that they did. That's not what I'm saying. My point is, and I hope they get the police catches them. That's not my point. My point is he did that. He brought that shit on himself. And if you're not prepared to defend yourself, if you don't have things in place to defend yourself, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? You know how the world is. You know how people are. And then you go into Flint of all places. You know how Flint is. You know what I'm saying? You don't do those things in those areas, man. You just don't do it. You don't do it. You don't do it. Then on top of that, everybody wanted to, when they broke the stuff, they was doing as if Clarissa Shields was to blame for that. Because she's had nothing to do with that. Not one damn thing. In fact, all the people from her team was trying to de-escalate the situation. Whoever this person is that did that is somebody who's an asshole, obviously, who took it to heart and decided to execute. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the problem. You know, I'm listening to EJ talk some real shit. Dude, you would get knocked the fuck out too, you know. Because you on some real chauvinistic shit right now. Talking about Clarissa Shield. She has to blame. How's she gonna blame? She's trying to make weight. She's trying to make weight. She has nothing to do. She wasn't even studying that shit. You know, she was on a totally different beat. It was the members of her team trying to move the people away. From what I've learned and what I understand, it's not even one of the members of her team that actually did that. It's somebody separate from that, right? So it's not even her team that did that, right? Obviously, the person's a punk. Obviously, the person's an asshole. They came through, they did their thing, and it's like a drive-by. They came through, they did their thing, and they left, right? In those environments, in those places, unfortunately, it's a bad reflection on Flint. Clarissa didn't get to go through with her fight because obviously, if the other lady's trainer is down, she's not gonna go in no fight without her trainer, right? That just don't make no damn sense. And she stayed by her trainer's side, which she's supposed to do. That was the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that he came through, that they were able to do the emergency surgery, fix him up. He's gonna be good as new soon enough because he looked like that kind of dude who will come back from that stuff. But I'm just saying though, there's a lesson to be learned, and we better learn those lessons, right? You go rolling up in a gym, talking shit. You better be able to back that shit up. You know, you go up in a ring and you be talking smack. You better be able to back that shit up, right? You don't just talk. You know, a lot of people think it's just shit talking in boxing. It's just for entertainment. Motherfucker, if them motherfuckers start throwing blows, and it's easy to go to blows in boxing. It's easy for these guys to go fist to cuff, especially when they're making weight, right? In fact, from what we know, I don't care how nice that boxer is. There are certain times when their families can't really talk with them and interface with them, right? Because they'll just get extremely violent. And that's why a lot of boxers, at a certain point, they get into domestic abuse issues, right? Because they get extremely violent, right? And it's all good. I mean, it's just like you have to know what you're dealing with. And when you are in that environment, you got to know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what you're doing. I'll be honest with you, EJ. I'm not on some punk ass chauvinistic shit. I'm not one of those guys, right? So you trying to blame a woman because she's a woman, that's bullshit, right? If you got issue with that, you go sort that out. You're not confident as yourself as a man, that's your issue. That's not mine. But as far as I'm concerned, those women had nothing. You can't fault them for nothing. You may not want a woman to be talking to a man, especially Ali Bashir. That's your problem. That's not mine. You know, he didn't want to get corrected. It don't matter how the sister talked to her. She could have said, "Get your punk ass the fuck off the stage." He wasn't supposed to be on the stage. So it didn't matter how she said it to him and how much he didn't like it. He had to get his punk ass off the stage. I know y'all don't like to hear me say it like that, but I'm just saying, right? And again, that does not disregard or disrespect what this man has done in the sport of boxing. This man has done a lot in the sport of boxing. I'm addressing his attitude. I'm addressing what he was doing. He started it. Jessica Chimeno says, yes, boxing is not a game. Yeah, it's not a game. This shit is not a game. People get hurt real bad, real easy, right? And you have to understand some of the fans of boxing, they're very violent people themselves. It takes a certain mindset to want to be involved in boxing. Like I was listening to my boy Colt Shelton Harris. Again, all of you guys associated with Ali Bashir, so I expect you to team up and side with him. But he did shit, and you got to be honest. You got to call it as it is. I know you got to interview the guy. I know you want the guys. I understand that. But you got to call things as they are. If the motherfucker don't want to do an interview with you no more, that's okay. But y'all got to stop being slaves out here, trying to get favor with people. So you compromise yourself and compromise what you do. You understand what I'm saying? Too much fucking favoritism in this game. I'm not gonna play that shit. Coach Sheldon Harris knows. I'm a guy that talk the truth, and fuck it, fuck all y'all. I'm gonna say the truth. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, people. We must respect our elders. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying disrespect our elders. I'm not even saying disrespect Ali Bashir. Fuck no. All I'm saying is, on that particular issue, he has to bear the responsibility for what he did. He started this shit. Now, in better circumstances, one thing I didn't like was how Showtime handled the situation. What I mean by that is, Showtime, first of all, didn't pay much attention to the Clarissa Shields fight. And then, normally, under normal circumstances, if something like that started to escalate, there'd be security there to move Ali Bashir far away. He wouldn't be by himself. There'd be somebody in security with him. You know what I'm saying? To de-escalate that situation. It took members of Clarissa's team to move people away. And while they were moving people away, it took that inopportune moment. And that's why I said, if you're going to do shit like that, you need to understand where you are. You can't do that shit any place. He was supposed to be protected. Somebody was supposed to be there to make sure nobody could get to him. Somebody needed to be there to make sure he couldn't get to Clarissa Shields' sister to escalate the situation. Nobody was there to do that, right? And I just feel like Showtime didn't really invest. It wasn't a total investment in this fight. I'm not blaming nobody, but I'm just saying, under normal circumstances, on a high-profile fight, oh, they got that locked down one time. They not playing with that shit, right? Because we know a fighter can do damage, tremendous damage, in a very short space of time, right? If a guy starts swinging and he was to hit any innocent person, he could instantaneously break that person's jaw clean, right? A boxer is not like a boxer is not like everyone else, right? If you can box or you can punch, you saw what happened to Ali Bashir, right? By somebody, it looked like it was a short, stocky guy that hit him, right? The guy seems to be shorter than Ali Bashir, and he clocked him and he broke his jaw. In how many places? I don't know, right? This is boxing. In boxing, motherfuckers can kill you. You know, if you get hit right, you don't even have to get hit in the temple. You just got to get right. And they could smash your orbital bone into your skull. They could smash your nose, stuff in your nose, right up into your skull. I mean, shit could happen, man. Shit could happen real quick, right? It's a very, very dangerous sport. But at the highest level, they have things in place to keep from things getting that explosive, right? We saw Derek Chisora pick up a table and just fling it like it was nothing. The heavyweights, right? The heavyweights. Just imagine if a heavyweight was to clock somebody. Shit. Somebody be dead. Right? In the boxing ring, Sergey Kovalev killed a person. Canelo killed, well, it's alleged, he killed his sparring partner. Okay? In the boxing ring. Right? It's a very, very dangerous sport. Even you, I stopped training. I'm just build strength now. I'm strengthening and conditioning myself. I'm not trying to really just throw. I throw jabs and shit, but I'm not really throwing anything right now because, I'm afraid to practice things the wrong way. So I have to get a trainer. So I stopped because I don't want to get hurt in the ring like that. I don't get hurt in the ring like that. You know. It's a very dangerous sport. And this week is going to be the week of Olympic trials for my country. Boxing beats and rhymes, Intangible Boxing. Shout out Intangible Boxing. Shout out to EJ Boxing Live, by the way, my brother. Don't get it twisted. It's all love. I don't hate you or anything. I'm just making my point clear. That's all. EJ Boxing Live said, Intangible Boxing said, Boxing Beats and Rhymes did a good vid on this. All right, man. Shout out. EJ Boxing Live says, you got the info wrong. Nope, I don't. That is what I'm saying. EJ Boxing says because it was a woman event. Of course, it's women boxing. EJ Boxing Live. No one cared enough, bro. You know, man. I know you are a real pioneer pushing the women's boxing, EJ, and it's really sad because the way how people are treating women's boxing, they're not promoting it like it should. I mean, it started off with the WIBA, and then now they're pushing it. It's getting further and further, but still, I just don't like it, man. I don't like what they're doing. This would never have happened to Ali Bashir if they really had invested in this. But you could tell that there's just not. You could tell that Clarissa has to promote this thing on her own, and it's just one of those tough things, man. But we'll see how it goes. No one's going there again now. Yeah, for sure. Flint, Michigan's gonna suffer for that. It's fucked up, man. That's the thing. You see, all of these things hurt boxing, hurts boxing. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget to hit the like button, folks. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button, folks. Thank you very much, Jessica Germano. Um, but again, EJ Boxing Live. It's not like he was holding a weapon, bro. Shit, like the towel hitting your face. I hear you, man. EJ Boxing Live, it's cool. Coach Shelton Harris, to what do I have? Yeah, Canelo almost killed Amir Khan. Yeah, right. There you go. He actually, I think Canelo probably recalled killing his sparring partner because he sat down in front of Khan as Khan was on the ground just to make sure he was all right. Because he just came in and he kneeled in front of him. I was like, God damn. He probably getting flashbacks. Yeah. Even how Canelo knocked out Kirkland. I remember when he knocked out Kirkland, how he turned around and was looking to see if he was all right. You could tell Canelo don't really want to kill nobody in that ring. But I'm gonna tell y'all this: if he faced Triple G the third time, he gonna kill him. I'm not joking. I'm serious. Triple G is taking way too much punishment. This is his fourth fight where he took that much punishment, and I just think, yeah, Kirkland got a concussion. That's true. That's true. There you go. And I'm just saying, man. A lot of people pushing for this Canelo. I'm not looking forward to a fight like that. I think Triple G. I mean, I think somebody need to look out for him. He's talking about facing all the best fighters and shit. Listen, man, Triple G, go find another Steve Rawls or one of them guys you can beat up and beat. I know you with the zone, but I mean, shit. Yeah, GGG's they found him out, they figured him out, and I think he's taking way too much punishment over those last four fights. I think he's about done. And I don't mean done in terms of I'm sure he can keep on going with boxing. I don't think he's old or anything. I just think that they figured him out, and now it's about beatdowns. He don't have the defense, man. He don't have the defense. Everybody was saying, I listened to a lot of people saying it was a close fight. I just did not see that. And I'm going to tell you, because it's the boxing, how Derevchenko was pivoting around him. Triple G just couldn't handle that. And there was moments where he wasn't even throwing nothing. Like, he was just taking punishment. He wasn't even throwing anything. Derevchenko was just landing whatever he wanted to and just beating him up and going weak side, step around him, beat him up. Kind of reminded me a little bit of J-Rock, what he did. But J-Rock did it a little more subtle. Smaller side steps, but man, it's brutal, man. You talking about that's a nasty, and they saying that Derevchenko landed the most amount of punches ever on Triple G. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. So I mean, but it is what it is. I see some pro Triple G people doing slow motion replay and they doing little clip cuts where Triple G actually landed something. And so they're trying to influence people that way. And I just feel bad because it's like I remember when EJ and you and Boxing Beats and Rhyme was saying, well, who was the first person? Where did Triple G get his title off of? And then we realized, oh shit, it was an interim title that was upgraded to the WBA regular title because Felix Stern was the super champion. He had been upgraded to super champion. So in fact, Triple G wasn't a real champion. He was a paper champion for a good period of time until 2012. So for 2 years, he was just a paper champion. And then because Felix Stern lost, and then Daniel Gila beat him, Triple G became this regular champion. It's one of those crazy things. I listen to them talk about 20 defenses and all this stuff. It's all fucking hype, man. And it's crazy. And it's only now on the zone. I heard Demetrius Andre saying it. Well, I see Triple G's now fighting elite fighters. I mean, he wasn't really fighting elite fighters. You could say Daniel Gill was an elite fighter in a way because he was unified IBF, and then he lost it to Parker, and then after that, he he won another fight and they faced Triple G. So you could say he was kind of semi-elite, not really, but he was kind of, you know. But other than Daniel Gill, I mean, who else? I mean, you got David Lemieux, and he was able to outbox David Lemieux was a brawler, though. You know what I'm saying? He was a boxing, brawling power puncher. You know what I'm saying? Trying to box. But he really started stepping it up with Kell Brook, and then he had the Danny Jacobs, and then he had the Canelo fights, and now he's got Derevyanchenko. He's now starting to face the cream of the crop, And this is usually later on in a boxer's career, you usually face the cream of the crop. So this is not surprising, but nonetheless, everybody thought he was a killer. He was this monster, but they didn't realize it was matchmaking that was making that look like that. And they still give him a lot of credit for things he's not doing. He's not actually doing those things in fights. And I used to be high off for Triple G once upon a time. You guys know that. But it was EJ and Boxing Beating Rise that made me come back down. I was like, wait a minute, this guy, what are he actually doing? There was a time when I thought Triple G could beat Marvin Hagler. Literally, I thought so. And because I was thinking of his size, that he's much bigger than Marvin Hagler and all that. What do I know about anything? So anyway, yeah. If Canelo faces Triple G a third time, though, especially coming off of the Kovalev win, if he over the Kovalev win, that means Canelo had fought a 175 pounder, which means if he does come back down to middleweight, which I suspect he will do, he's going to have a lot more pop because he'd have fought a lot bigger guy. So, if he even manages to do what he did in the second fight against Triple G, just really land a whole set of body shots on him, he's going to hurt him very badly, and we're going to have a data chef situation, I think. I'm not really looking forward to that fight. I hope Canelo doesn't face him like he said. I think Triple G's done. Period. Done. For forking him. He just there now to be a punching bag for whoever. He's a glorified punching bag. I would say that, he's always been that. Just that there was never people with that skill to exploit it like that. And, Chocolatito's the same thing. They look spectacular because they do certain things, and everybody loves that they can get KOs, and they're just giving people the entertainment that they long for in boxing. But when it come down to actual defense, neither of them guys got it. Their defense was their offense and their pressure. And, the nice thing about them was they were very selectively, they were very kind of cleverish pressure fighters. They weren't guys who threw a lot of volume, but it were guys, they wouldn't just take one to give one. You know what I mean? They had their way would be kind of their jab or, power jab, and then they tee off with their power shots. But then when that don't work, what do? You know what I'm saying? So now there are guys who can get past Golovkin's jab. We saw it with Derevyanchenko. We saw it with Canelo. And then Danny Jacobs had the longer reach, so he just out-jabbed Triple G by having the longer reach. And then the thing with Triple G is he's a mid-range fighter, right? He's not really great at long range. He's not really great at inside fighting. So if you can fight on the inside and you can fight on the outside, you're good. So Danny Jacobs fought on the outside, fought on the inside, right? Canelo, he could fight mid-range and on the inside. You got Derevyanchenko was an inside fighter. So these guys just made it hell for Triple G. And that's just the way how that goes, Anyways, Kovalev going to be facing Canelo next. Y'all saying that Kovalev's going, he going to hit Canelo with something that Canelo never felt before, some kind of shit like that. Y'all just don't get it. Y'all got it twisted, man. Canelo going to just he gonna piece that boy up. You know, I've been saying this over and over again. You know, because I got the confidence to understand what at least I'm dealing with. It's not like I'm borderline like Anthony Yard. I was like, nah, I don't know, but you know what? I'm going with Anthony Yard. No, it's not like that. This one is just what you think it is. What you think it is exactly what it's going to be. No matter what Buddy McGirt tries to tell you, no matter what Kathy Duva tries to tell you, that's inevitably what's going to happen. Canelo's going to piece him up on the inside and take him out. The question is when he's going to piece him up. I keep on saying it over and over so you guys will remember what I said. Right? So, yeah. So, after the Kovalev fight, I guess Canelo's going to come back down. You know, but you know, I want to find from you guys. So that's the last thing I want to say about the Clarissa Shields thing because I was thinking to myself that I don't really want to hate on Ali Bashir. I don't hate him or anything. I don't know the guy like that, and I personally think that the situation was a good one for everybody. It was a terrible situation. It's something you don't want to even have happen. But I'll say that it taught me a lot again because I remember my personal experience that I need to be careful what I say around certain people or certain environments or certain places. But at the same time, I also feel like we need to continue to promote women's boxing in as much positive way as possible. It's a tragedy and it's a step backwards for women's boxing what happened. But I do not believe that Clarissa Shields was to blame for that. You can't blame the boxer for that. But I do say that hopefully from this experience, people will learn so they can take precautionary measures so no such thing like this happens again. Because this is again, boxing keeps on taking these bad blows, right? And this is definitely a bad blow to boxing, to women's boxing, as well as a step backwards. So we're hoping and praying, no matter how much of anybody behaves like an asshole, whoever they may be, that we can prevent the assholes from acting. That's the whole point. You know, trash talking is a part of boxing. Do understand though, even though people trash talk, that they mean what they say, and it can be very dangerous. Sometimes guys will act on their trash talk. You know what I'm saying? Um, would you consider, Jessica Germano says, would you consider doing a video on Sugar Ray Leonard's style? I know you did videos. Sure, absolutely. I'm supposed to actually do Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler, a breakdown on that. Would you consider doing a video on Sugar Ray Leonard's style? I know you did videos on the scoring of some of his fights, but like an overview of Sugar Ray Leonard. After watching a speech he gave, I borrowed his memoir. Man, Sugar Ray Leonard, he was fantastic. Because the one thing about Sugar Ray Leonard you'll find out is he could fight and he could box. He could fight and he could box. Those two things he could do. And then the other thing about Sugar Ray Leonard, he could do it all. He could box on the inside, he could box in mid-range, and he could box on the outside. All right. So Sugar Ray Leonard was a guy who would try to figure out your style. And then he would adapt whatever it was he does to nullify your style, but in an aggressive manner. He would look to crash you at every turn. You slip up, you make a mistake, he's going to try and exploit it. So that was Sugar Ray Leonard. His basic style was the classical boxing style. That is to say, he wasn't Michigan style defense, but he did use the shoulder roll some. His stance was more of a broad shoulder stance. That is to say, he looked square in front of you, but really and truly, he could snap back out of the way, but it was a lot more exaggerated how they did it. So the snapback was a lot more exaggerated. So he would snap back, didn't really use much of the swivel, didn't really have an inbuilt defense in his guard. So he had to slip out of the, or he would snap back, that kind of thing. So his style was a little bit different. It was exciting what he did. He also had antics in the ring. He would like clown an opponent to get them off guard. Something Muhammad Ali used to do. He'd clown the opponent to get them off guard or to get their attention off of what they were supposed to be doing so he could jab them. Because one of the things he did, he didn't necessarily do pull counters like Muhammad Ali did, but he would counter with his jab. So he would counter. kind of like Sugar Ray Robinson would do, counter you with a jab, you know. So there's a number of different things, but again, I'm talking to you, but really, the nicest way to do it would be kind of to demonstrate it a little bit. Maybe I could demonstrate it a little bit for you guys, just a little bit. So let me show you a little bit about Sugar Ray Leonard, right? So Sugar Ray Leonard's style was pretty interesting. See, I'm gonna go orthodox for a second, right? So Sugar Ray Leonard didn't really he didn't really use this shell. He didn't really use this. He didn't really use this, right? He was more like this, right? Like this, and he would do like this. So he would stay out the center line like that. And if you throw a punch, he'd snap back this way, right? So he was more square. The Michigan defense is more like this, right? Right? But he was more like this. So he could parry the shot or catch the shot. He was more square. This leads to him getting hit more. And he had to move more. Excessive movement. You do something like this. Right? So he could get hit more because he got more of this. Of course, he could roll the punch. So he could go from here to rolling it off. Right? So he could come from here and roll out. Now, with this stance here, right, I could hook off the rope, right, because my hand's right here, or I can up jab you, right. So Floyd would do something like this too. He could come here, but he could block it, you know. Sugar Ray Leonard was more catch it, right, hit me here, right. So that's why I said, when I was talking about Floyd versus Leonard, if you can get hit by a punch, Floyd can beat you. Say Floyd might do something like this, right? Change levels. So I'm here, now I'm here. See? And then, ha! See? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, because the camera, but I'm going to do it real slow. So I'm here watching you, right? Inbuilt defense. What I mean by that is my head is off center line naturally. So you throw a jab at me, you're going to miss. You're going to go over my shoulder. See, because I'm off center line. And plus I can use this to parry it or just lay it here, right? So Leonard was on center line, so he had to keep off center line. See? See? So that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. You see? But even though he was on center line, because he was using remote footwork, he could roll it. Right? But he still could get caught over the top. Right? As Duran did with him. You see? So there's a lot of things going on there that I didn't really quite explain to you guys, but I try to break it down a little bit about boxing and what I saw with these fighters, right? You know, Ray Robinson was a beautiful fighter as well, but he also fought more like this, okay? Sugar Shane Mosley reminded me a little bit about him, a little bit. Not saying a lot, but a little bit, right? So Ray Robinson, right, would bounce on the spot and chop, chop, you know. He'd throw the jab. And a nice long jab. I'm a southpaw, so I naturally want to do this all the time, right? He had a nice long jab. Anyways, man. It was nice talking to you guys. And Ray Robinson was long, 5'11". He was a long dude. Thanks for this insight. Sugar Ray said in his speech that he remembers every round of every fight. Yeah, probably vivid in his mind. Sugar Ray Leonard used to visualize things, talk about biorhythms, how he felt going into a fight. He knew if you would win it or lose it, and that kind of stuff. Kind of spiritual aura stuff and stuff like that. Hybrid 95 says, salute to everyone in the chat. Salute to you, brother. Jessica Gemino says, salute, Hybrid. What you need is showing us Sugar Ray Leonard's moves. Well, it's just, I'm not really showing you his moves. I'm just showing you his stance. Because I can't show you his moves. This is too restricted a space for me to do that. But I was just showing you one of his stances, right? And when he was fighting Tommy Hearns, he didn't have the perfect two guard, but he was walking to him like this. And he's getting hit. Boop. And he walked to him. He didn't know how to really use the high guard, but he just adapted. He said, man, I got to walk to this guy somehow. So he had this little high guard thing he was walking to him with. But the perfection of the high guard, Gene Foreman also had a high guard. Gene Foreman walked to you like this. But he was a brawler. So he was, but he walked to you with the high guard. And Marlon Sterling, he had a beautiful high guard. Powerful high guard. This kid, Winky Wright. Wicked high guard. You know who else had a really good high guard and still does? The African dude from Ghana. Face Pacquiao. You guys know what I'm talking about. Joshua Clottey. He got a great high guard too. Big forearms. He got massive forearms. It blocked his whole entire body from head to, he'd be walking to you like this. There are different ways to walk with the high guard too. There are different ways. You got this. You got a high guard like this. You got a high guard like this. You got a high guard like this. You got the high guard like this. All right. There are different ways to. You can put on ear muffs to protect my ears. I walked him. All right. Glenn Johnson. Glenn Johnson used to walk with a high guard as well. He had good high guard. He used to grunt. When he throwing punches, he go, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, he breathed to throw the punch. So I'm just saying, you know, there are many different kinds of high guards. There's many different kinds of side guards, half guards, and all that stuff. Yeah, anyway, that's besides the point, though. My point is that, you know, Ray Leonard, he was more up here. It was all about this. It was all about making adjustments for him. He didn't do it as fast as Floyd does. Floyd makes adjustments really fast. But he makes adjustments. Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, I was just listening to Joe Habib, actually. Joe Habib is a big fan of Sugar Ray Leonard. And Sugar Ray Leonard was fascinating in many respects because the man was a cerebral kind of guy, you know, a guy who always thinking, you know, and he was always thinking of game plans to deal with opponents. So, you know, Ray had that kind of acumen. I'm not saying that Ray was a guy who used that in the ring. How do I put it? He didn't. How do I put it? You know, like when you're fighting, you're not fighting. When you're fighting, you're not fighting like you want to. You're not thinking about everything when you're fighting. It's not that complex, you know. But at the same time, you know, it's all about like Coach Eric Bradley said. It's like muscle memory, but yet at the same time, it's like I don't know how to explain it. Like for me with music, a picture kind of pops up in my head, boom, and then I just do it, right? There's no thinking, there's no extensive, like how I'm having this extensive conversation with you guys. There's none of that. It just comes and then you just do it. And I think it's the same way with boxing. It's not really something where they say it's instinctual, but I don't think it's just instinctual. I think it's just, I can do this, I'm gonna do it. But it's not that way. It's not like a thought like that, you know? So anyways, that's the thing with these things. And of course the preparation that these guys go through just to face each other and all of that, and just the mental preparation and then of course the extensive physical preparation they have. You know, if you go into a fight, for example, but you're mentally weak, but you're physically prepared, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. I don't care who it is. You're gonna lose. You ever played a basketball game and you're physically prepared for that basketball game? You can do all kinds of phenomenal things, and yet you lose the game to guys who physically are not as good as you. And that's boxing. That's any sport. And so, um, you know, that's what Sugar Ray Leonard had over those other guys. Hybrid 95. When I was preparing for competing amateur, I was tall for my weight, 5'7" at 122 pounds. I utilized the textbook high guard. What would you recommend for a taller fighter, and vice versa, now that I'm 5'7" at 145 pounds? Oh, you're a small guy. I thought you were bigger than that. Okay, I don't know. I mean, I'm just talking. I mean, I'm not a trainer. I'm not a coach. I'm a fan just like you. I mean, I can't recommend nothing. I think I would recommend you to Coach Eric Bradley to ask those questions. Even though I know the different kinds of guards, I wouldn't want to just go out there and tell you what guard to use. It's what's best for you. What works best for you. You know, using the high guard is a good thing. And again, it may not be that you use one of these guards. You may use several for different situations. Earmuffs are on so that you can block hooks, right? You can block the hooks. You got the guard that does this, and you block the hooks all the way around, right? So different guards serve for different things. And it's always good to know as much about as many guards as possible so that you could have a lot of different things in your game. But then the only problem is, even though you may know these things cognitively, they may not be in your muscle memory. It means you have to work on all those different guards. You get what I'm saying? That's a lot of work. Just trying to do all those, and you can't be confused, and you have to execute them properly. And there's just so much to it that, you know, you have to find what works for you. And it's good to have a little knowledge of those things, those other things, but you probably won't spend most of your time doing those other guards. So you have to know which one of those guards works for you. And the only way you're going to know that is when you enter competition, you're actually fighting people, and you actually resorting to certain things. One of the ways I would think of it is like this. Instinctively, what do you do when somebody attacks you? Let's say, for instance, somebody's coming at you and they throw a punch up on top like this. Do you do like this? Ah! Now, if you do something like that, then maybe the guard for you is this. You know what I'm saying? So based on your personality, based on who you are as a person, certain things will just come naturally, feel comfortable to you. There are other skills you will need to use in boxing which will not feel comfortable. They'll feel very unnatural. You'll wonder why you're doing them, but they come in handy later on. They're called acquired skills, right? So you have to know what works for you. For me, even your stance. Sometimes you're not comfortable doing orthodox stance. You feel like one hand's weaker than the other, and you feel like you'll be more effective in another stance. But the coach or trainer says, no, stay in this stance. Well, stay in it, you know, because maybe that's the way how that's supposed to be. So not everything is comfortable, not everything works for you, but certain things come instinctually. It's based on you, your personality. Your style is going to be developed. You're not going to have a style like anybody else. You're going to have your own style at the end of the day. But you must have the fundamentals. The jab, footwork, proper footwork. You must fundamentally learn how to do things on the inside. Fight on the inside, fight on the outside. And those things take a lot of time to build and to do. I know, even me trying to do it myself, man, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time. I don't even know if I'm doing it right, which is terrible. So, you know, that's why I stopped everything. And I said, you know what, I need to get a trainer because I could be practicing these things wrong. You know, and mostly use shadow boxing. I don't really use much of anything else except for I use walls or I use surfaces to be able to say I'm going at a target and I'm moving my body relative to that. You know, Hybrid 95 says he's laughing. Nah, I just talk like I'm talking like I'm big sometimes. Well, 5'7" is not really small. I mean, you're kind of like a little bit taller. But you like Mayweather and them guys. You like Keith Thurman's height. You could be a welterweight. You actually are probably a welterweight, 145. Maybe a lightweight, actually. Um, I have a Tommy Hearn sniper style with my lead hand low. Okay. When I'm long range and high guard, mid and close range. Okay, cool. Cool. I haven't sparred in over a year. Wow. Though, Hybrid 95 says that's very true. Instincts always kick in. Yeah, because you see, fight or flight. You know what I'm saying? Fight or flight. So I gotta go just now. You find yourself in a situation where you have to react immediately. You either freeze up or you do something, right? So, you know, me coming from a martial arts background, I knew how to do certain things, but I do it fluidly. I don't really necessarily do things fast or slow. I just move very fluidly. So if a situation comes to me, I just fluidly handle it versus go very quickly with jerky movements. I could move very jerky, but the more natural you move, I find, is the more deceptive you can be. So you can be deceptively quick, etc. But talking about boxing again, boxing is kind of like a dance in some respects, but in real life, it's really what works for you. So like if you're sparring somebody or if you're practicing something, was what sometimes comes naturally to you, maybe more of your style. So you may not be you say you're more of a sharpshooter, you're more of a sniper. So that means you pop the jab a lot, and that's good. I mean, um, the main thing I would say, if it was me, I make sure that every time I pop the jab, I'm not standing directly in front of nobody. I make sure I pivot off of the jab. So every time I pop that jab, I'm changing position. Whichever way it is, whether I'm pivoting this way or I'm pivoting that way, right? I'm popping the jab and I'm pivoting. Even if it's pivoting into you, even if I'm making a step coming into you, I'm gonna pop that jab off a pivot. So that way I always changing the angle so my opponent can't just simply counter me. So that's one of the things I would do, you know, if I'm engaging in hand-to-hand combat with somebody. You know, I'm not going to stay directly in front of them at any point in time. And I'm always varying range, always varying distance. That's easy to say, but to demonstrate that, you got to start off slow maybe, and then once you can get the fluidness in your motion, then you can do it even better, you know. And you want to have subtle movements. You don't want big, exaggerated movements, you know. And that was one thing with Sugar Ray Leonard and some of the old-time boxers. I thought they wasted a lot of energy doing these enormous moves with their body, with their upper body and stuff, when you just needed to just say. And I think modern boxing now, they pull a little line thing and they just have you slipping, you know. You know, even if you're bobbing and weaving, you know, coming in there, you're slipping the punches, you know. So you're not moving completely off center line. You're just slight movements, just enough. You want to conserve that energy for later. So yeah, that's what I got to say. I am actually dripping wet. You guys don't believe it, but that little demonstration has me soaked. All my pants is soaked down. It's one of the weirdest things. But the place is really hot. It's really hot down here. So I'm already soaking. I'm going to have to drink some more water, but it was nice talking with you guys. Hopefully things work out for Ali Bashir. Speedy recovery to that man. I hope that he gets better, and also I hope that, but he will. He's that kind of guy, I could tell. Agreed. Hybrid 95. When some fighters get hurt, they revert back to old styles, even though they started a new training regime. Yeah, because it's not in muscle memory like that. It's only under pressure you can truly know if something's truly been ingrained in you. And usually things that are ingrained in you take years to do, you know what I'm saying? Yes, you too, my brother, you too. But I really want to get into the sport and just do one event. And if it works out very well, I might do a second. But one step at a time. You guys have a good one. Hybrid 95, EJ Boxing Live, Jessica Jimeno. Thank you so very much for smashing that like button, peoples. Coach Shelton Harris. Coach Shelton Harris is mostly into MMA, but I like when he talks boxing because I'm not really into MMA. But gentlemen, ladies, all the people who've been viewing this video, thank you so very much for viewing the video. You've been so kind to me. Please share, and where I can, I'm gonna try. I'm still trying. I'm working hard on it, but it's not. I'm not getting any success right now. I'm gonna try to get a place where you guys can donate online. But until then, you guys have a good one, man. Peace.